So first of all, you guys have known each other for 25 years. Is
Yes,
that right?
I think that's right.
And then we all think, oh, of course you did loads on SNL together, but in fact you only were in one sketch together, right?
I think that might be right. No, I think two, because I think when Amy and I played the Bush twins, I think you came in as W, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe so. Maybe
that would make sense.
Technically, two.
And there were a couple, and definitely I would come on Weekend Update.
That's true. Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
But that doesn't really
Yeah.
count as a sketch.
Yeah, but yes, but we haven't been on camera nearly as much as this.
No kissing.
I was going to say, that was my next question.
No.
I was going to say, so how were the kissing scenes with Tina and Will?
Oh, I'm just gonna answer for you. They're incredible.
They were incredible.
It is what it was. I will say though, those can be so stressful, and I felt anyway that it was like, okay, Swill, I know him. Like, you know what I mean? It just was easier to be someone that I know forever. Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a little bit of stress going in but like, just because you're like, oh, this is so weird, I'm gonna kiss my. Then you get it out of the way once, and then it was just so easy. And thank God you're going through that with somebody you know really well, and then, it's just once you get over that first
Initial.
Yeah,
we're
because
kissing all the time.
No, I will say the other thing that's always weird when you're the creator of the show.
Yes.
I feel like, I think women think this way, and I don't know that male creators think this way, but I always feel like, oh no, I hope this person doesn't think I'm like a pervert who like wrote this in to get my jollies. Like, I've had these things in the past where I'm like, I've had to, I'm like, hey, John Hamm, get the new pages, and like, it's just like my worst fear would be that someone thought I was writing it to get my jollies.
Well, let's ask Will, did that ever cross your mind?
I'm in a few times. Gotta take my shirt off a couple times in there. I'm like,
You do? She has you and Steve taking your shirts
it
off.
never
Quite
once.
a lot, actually.
Yeah, well, this showbiz.
I just kept thinking like, oh, I feel bad for Tina.
The thing was, my husband directed that scene, and it was in the spur of the moment. I was like, I think we should take our shirts off.
Yeah.
And I'm sure was just like, these two are freaks. Why are they what are they getting out of this?
Did you and Steve hit the gym more times than normal? Because you both look in good shape. They
Look great.
Yeah.
They're aspirational.
Yes.
All the men in this show are aspirational.
That's the great thing though about, I'm 54 and I was playing a 54-year-old. So like, your body looks like what it looks like then. And yeah.
Looks great, Will. Looks great.
He looks
Thank
great.
you.
And any nerves about kissing the boss lady?
Again, this is not Bridgerton. We're not going hard on this show.
I'm trying to think, like the, no. I mean, it is interesting because she was always kind of my boss. Because when I came into SNL, she was my boss.
But I never have ever thought of myself as Will's boss because I was head writer, but I wasn't in charge of the cast. Will's in the cast.
No, I know, but you're
that's
just
how
like,
you kind of thought.
I just get nervous around people who are, are like my comedy heroes, and she was just, so funny, and I just looked up to her so much. And then, got to work with her at 30 Rock, and we didn't have a ton of scenes together, but she was always there, and we're always friends. But I was kind of shy around her, and then this was like such a fun way because we were always buds, but a fun way to really cement the relationship, and we spent so much time together, and also now it was the first time that we both had families, and so I could kind of. We just
it was a nice catch up, because we haven't been together all the time since like the early 2000s. To get to meet Will's beautiful wife and his daughters, and it was and we finished filming in Puerto Rico, so we all got like a 2-week trip to Puerto Rico, which was incredible.
Yeah, the locations. Oh my God, the lake house and just so many gorgeous locations. The show is so good, and I was so interested to know that. So you loved the movie, you were obsessed with the movie when you were 10.
Yeah.
When you were 10 years old.
Yeah, I just thought I want to be a grown up and just like take trips like that and wear like a big sweater.
And Alan Alda, am I allowed to
I think I'll leave it to the Netflix post when you're like,
I can say, you told him and Carol Burnett how you loved the show, and he's making a guest appearance in the show, and you can just see the love in your face.
I love him
in
so
that
much.
scene.
We
It's,
all
like,
do.
so
That
clear how
that
much
day
you
we
love
got to
him.
spend with Alan and his wife Arlene on set was incredible. They're just really, really special people. Their marriage is so aspirational. They've been married since, I want to say, like 1957. And you think of, like, you know, before Alan was famous, and then Alan was like unbelievably famous and successful all through the 70s till now, and that marriage is so solid is a testament to them both. Because you've told me, like, you're just 2 hits away from just abandoning your family. You say that a lot. Yeah.
They'll find out in this interview.
They're doing for now. But that, like, I wasn't even in the scene that day, so we all those of us who were not in the scene,
Everybody showed up.
came down to make sure that we got to pay our respects, because I mean, what a titan, really, of both the industry and of just humanity. Just the sweetest guy.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see your love in your face. Got to ask about Steve, of course.
Yeah.
So was Steve your first pick for this part?
Steve Carell was the first person I went to as we started to build the ensemble. I thought, oh my gosh, if I could get Steve to be in this. And I always wanted him to play Nick, who's the guy who, spoiler alert, does kind of blow up his long-term marriage. Because I thought, like, in a part like that, you need an actor that you really, really love to not hate him for making this choice. And I always say to anyone who will listen, which is no one, but I always say that Steve, I think Steve is like our generation's Jimmy Stewart, because Jimmy Stewart is the most lovable, beloved actor. But when you watch the movies, his characters they're really grouchy. Like in It's a Wonderful Life, like that guy's really grouchy.
Yeah.
In, you know, Rear Window, he's like the guy who doesn't want to marry Grace Kelly. And it's, you have to have this incredible warmth that comes through it, and I think that's what Steve brings beautifully to the part.
And the most loving husband, father. You know he's not going to leave his family.
In real life, yeah. No,
In
he's
real
the
life.
best, yeah. He would never. In fact, he was so sweet because he was so mortified. You know, Erica Henningsen, who plays his young girlfriend, she's such a lovely, solid person, and he just was so, like, embarrassed. He's like, I would never do this, you know, and like we were like, Steve, it's okay. Like, he just like, even just the thought of portraying, like, leaving your wife for some young woman.
It's such an amazing cast. It's so well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this. I can't wait to go home and finish it.
Thank you.